looking at awarding the bids to them as outlined. If we get some information on that, appreciate it.
Sure. The roads are Enfield Avenue, Millshire Road, portion of Parkview Road, that includes new curb and gutter, Thornridge Lane, and some other various patches in areas of the village.
Okay. Questions about the road project from anybody? Trustee, I'm sorry, President Birmingham.
Yeah, thank you. Originally, what was the amount we were going to spend on the original roads? I see we did add the secondary road if we had lower bids. So what was?
Yeah, the original amount was the total of $985,000. We're estimating the expense at, because obviously we don't know exactly, given what happens in the field during construction, $1,040,210. And there is adequate funds in the capital improvement fund remaining from 2020 to cover that relatively small amount.
All right, so we didn't quite.
Enfield.
Richard, who says the floor?
We didn't quite cover that.
You approved Enfield, and we asked at that time when you approved it that we did it as an alternate just in case prices were over. But we really originally intended to do Enfield. It was only bid that way because you can't really take out a major road once you open the bids. You can only change so much. So we bid it as an alternate, and these were the prices that we got for that alternate, which we can cover. I mean, it's not an issue covering that's the small difference.
I don't know if that was the point though, when we did this, we really stretched out, to me, the budget this year, doing a lot of things that we're doing, and there's another $60,000 you may say we have in the account, but we were going to look at this road only if it covered it. So you're saying we're close is good. Well, that's my point. I don't think close is good enough, but that's me.
Trustee McFall, you're next.
My question to Enfield was originally bid as an alternate, correct?
My recollection was that originally the board wanted to put it into the bid, but at that time staff said, is it okay if we bid it as an alternate just in case the bids come in too high? Because then we would have had to rebid.
Okay.
Which we don't want to do, because later in the season you get the higher prices you get as contractors fill up their time allotments for equipment and things.
Okay. And my next question would be is the money that you said that would cover that because of the of it going over and everything. Where is that money coming from?
The capital improvement fund, we've already, since we've closed out 2020.
Okay, it's not coming from that loan that we took.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Trustee Sell?
Somewhat related, somewhat unrelated. The DPW equipment, I think that came in under budget, correct?
It did, and that money's still in the equipment fund.
And how much?
I don't recall exactly how much it was under. Rod, would you know?
Yeah, about 102,000 under. Maybe budgeted 550.
Can't hear.
How much? How much did you say?
I believe it was budgeted for 550, correct? We went from 450 to 550, and we came in at
448.
yeah, 448.
So 102,000 under.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. But we can't take that money.
It's equipment.
The board can if it wants to. I mean, the board has the authority to authorize moving excess funds from one fund to the other. The only ones you really can't are the utilities, because those operate as enterprise funds.
So we could take that 102 and just pay that loan right now.
We could do that, or what I had thought, and hadn't talked to the public works director or the engineer about yet, is to look at what the condition of that major patch we did on Grange, just east of Loomis. We did it last year, and kind of to see how that held up in the winter, and if it did well, we'll probably come back to the board and ask to spend some of that money on some more patches, if they're successful.
Still looks good. I just checked that today.
Yeah, we're still going to have some more freeze thaw periods. I mean, we had a real unique winter here where it froze and stayed froze. Usually that isn't the case, because what tears up the roads in cold climates is the freeze thaw, and then water getting under it, and then it freezes and pushes it up. So we're not done yet on that one, but if it looks good now, we're well on our way.
So the money's in the fund right now from 2020 because we came in under on some things last year?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we realize staff strives to come in under. You know, we don't want to come back to the board and tell you that things are over.
Yeah.
And that we can't, in this case, that to come back and say, well, we're going to have to rebid this because it came in higher. You know, we don't want to do that because then it also costs us more because we're bidding later in the bid cycle.
But do we really even save? Because remember, we bid earlier because we were supposed to save some money. Did you think we did?
That's the whole, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, any other questions? I'd like to, I have a problem going over budget. I mean, I was hoping Enfield would come in within our budgeted amount. We've already made some exceptions this year just out of the gate. And I drove up on Enfield today. It's got at least 4 large patch holes, but there's most of the road is not horrible. It just isn't. I urge anyone to drive up there. The potholes could be fixed with the summer type patching in my mind. The 55,000 or 60 that I'm concerned about is that it's early in the year. There's so many variables for this year that's coming out, changes in everything in Greenville that's going on. To use this money to do one road that we were under at least I was under the assumption that we could fit this thing in because we thought prices were going to come in under, and in fact they didn't. I have no problem with the first 3 roads, but I think the alternate should be, if possible, placed on hold until we see where we sit. We may need this money for something a lot more important later in the year, and I just think it should be at least a discussion point here before we vote that, does everybody feel comfortable going over what our budgeted amount said originally? Even though we have the money, I do understand that, but we might have something else that's, what if something else more important to happen? So if anybody wants to discuss that. Not seeing any? Okay, President.
Well, and again, that's the point of doing things, but I understand this is, again, it's one of those amounts where you say 60,000, but again, I had the same feeling that when we said this was going to come under budget and then we would do this road, 60,000 is not under the budget. It's not, we're still got to take some money from somewhere. I don't care if we take it from Public Works, this deal, or we take it from the budget and stuff. That wasn't the idea. Are we gaining that much, as you said, and has the rest of the board looked at Enfield? I have the same question. We have some pretty bad roads out there. I don't know how this became into this pot, but I'm saying we have a bunch of holes that we could do, but I guess I'm on the fence on this one, but go.
Just do what?
Just I'm a little bit different. I just feel like our roads, we have to fix them. They are not good. I was driving to it, went down Enfield, and it's a very heavily trafficked road. Everyone doesn't realize that's where Canterbury is, and a lot of families are going back and forth every day. There are very big potholes. Yes, maybe could they be patched? I don't know. But it is in bad condition. And I think the 55,000 is worth paying for it. I do.
It's 189,000.
Well, no, it's 55,000 different though.
Well, yeah, but
Correct? And it's not coming out, the general fund. I wouldn't want that.
Mr. Sabrowski, I see your hand up or not?
Yeah, I was just saying for that amount of money, I would definitely be for going ahead and getting that road done. It is, that's one of the most traveled roads. Not most traveled, but
It is very,
Yeah, for example, my wife, goes down that road twice a day, taking the kids to school. So, and I do know there's some potholes and it's starting to get lots of stress cracks. And I'm assuming the engineer is the one that recommended that road, correct? Mm-hmm. Because he thought it was.
I may be wrong, but if I remember right, and hope somebody corrects me if I'm wrong, I believe the board added Enfield in.
I think that Matt brought it up.
No.
No? Well,
I
somebody
was gonna
did.
say, I agree, I don't know that Enfield's the worst.
Yeah.
road.
It's not the worst
Enfield's
road, but it's
terrible in
bad.
certain stretches, but I think that there's that PACER program, what is it?
Mhm.
Where they rank them all, so I'm assuming this was
Had
ranked.
to have been one of them.
I think it was somebody else brought it up too, because it's not that bad. I mean, it's got 4 potholes. I just drove it an hour ago.
Maybe we talked about it because the school just did the,
That's because of the school.
Yeah.
So it's-
I mean, there's no doubt it's a well-used road because it goes to the main school.
Right.
And that school did a big project this last summer.
The trucks should
They had a
be
lot
paid
of
for.
trucks on it, and yeah, so, you know, it could, I guess if you look at it that way, at 60,000, you could say it, but, you know, whatever. Like,
Oh, Clint, my concern is that we're consistently, when we do the budgets, we're trying to think of everything. And I remember this part in the budget because we did this before the budget, we were doing the roads. And the thought was, I don't know if Len said or somebody said that we thought because the situation this year, we would come in under budget. And so the alternate was added in because we would be under budget and then swing it over. That's what I remember. And it didn't work out this way. It's not horribly over, but I think that to just start going, well, it's not that much money to go over budget, I'm not entirely sure then why we do a budget. You know, if we aren't even going to follow it. I mean, this is March 2nd, and we already have made exceptions several times this year, but trustee, you had the next point.
yeah, I agree, but my thinking is we approved a certain amount at the budget for capital improvements and new equipment in the village that's sorely needed. And because we've got some savings in another area, that I feel like if we want to, we can apply it here, that I'm kind of looking at it as an overall picture. I feel like we've got enough capital improvement projects in the village that we're so far behind on, that if overall we're on track, which I think we are, we're still 70 grand or so in the positive, I would want to do the road this year and not push it to next year. That's why I'm comfortable with it, because overall we're okay. Still,
We're
Just ask them.
not okay overall. I mean, first time ever we've had to borrow money from the state. But, okay, I hear what you're saying, trustee Ross?
Quick question. If we were, like, what would be, like, 100,000 we would have to play with? Is that correct? If we didn't do an infield? I mean, then we'd have to have the engineer go back, and that costs money too, right? To rebid everything and how
Well,
much?
no, Enfield was an alternate, so you can just
Right.
not take the alternate.
But then we'd be under, wouldn't we?
Yeah. And I mean, we've already,
That's what we'd be under.
the other thing is with that loan, the money left over from the equipment, we can only use that for equipment or roads. That's it.
So we could apply it to roads.
We could apply it to roads, but that's the only thing you can use it for.
Uh-huh.
Because that's the premise of those loans. Those loans are given for, you have to say what you're using it for, and it's gotta be a capital type item.
that 140,000 we could apply to the loan.
Correct.
All right,
Right, that's in the,
Pay it off early.
okay, all right, yeah. But, okay,
Other questions in regard to this?
So if we don't do Enfield, all we're doing this year is Millshire, Parkview, and Thornridge. And various other locations which are
Patching.
Patches.
patches and everything. That's all we're doing for roads this
Not
year.
all of Parkview either.
Yeah, well, that's $1 million road out there, so.
Yeah, the issue is Parkview so much because
Yeah.
we're going to curb and gutter.
Yep.
We normally in the past have put over $1 million towards roads. This year, because of the economic conditions, we backed off, and I think it was a
It just
smart
seems like
financial
we've
decision.
fallen again behind in roads again. I mean, it just, you know, like I said, we're not doing enough roads. I mean,
right,
that,
we were trying to avoid that this
yeah,
year.
we were trying to get away from that we wanted to start doing more roads and, you know, somebody has brought to my attention to, also that, you know, as a trustee, what is the major thing that everybody complains about in this town?
Taxes.
Roads.
Roads and
taxes, I agree.
So, and so,
Trustee Chadwick,
just,
she had.
I agree. To me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I'd rather pay the extra fees money, but not upfront here, than rather than wait, because if we took it out and if we put it in at a later date, it's gonna cost us more. So it will cost, our citizens more. So to me, I understand, but the bids came in over what we wanted.
So,
So,
yeah, they did. They came in over, so we can cut one. But President Birmingham, you had a question or comment?
And no point. Listen, I'm just making the point again, about, listen, I got a few weeks on this board yet, but we've done well over the years by maintaining our budget, by living by our budget, and by doing a lot of things. And I just, this is just another one. Yes, I agree with what trustees, I'm sorry, but, this probably will go up. I mean, the way gas is going up right now, this could cost us double next year with roads. And he talks about doing a number of roads. I think you're going to find tire going up in cost. So it's kind of a yes and no kind of point. But still, I just want to bring the point up. We are attending to go over budget and saying that's okay. And that's my point. It's okay. Or it's okay to get this and it's okay to do this. And to me, that's at some point we got here, and 24 years I've been on this board, soundly financially by really playing the game when others did. They borrowed money and did. And so I'm just saying again, and yeah, this some good points are being brought up, and I probably will vote for it tonight because of some good points. But again, I just want the board to realize, I'm just saying, those little $60,000 or $50,000 things we do add up. And you made a point, it's only March, so we can get in. So that's one taken. So thank you.
Any other comments? In that case, the Finance Committee approve the bid of Stark Pavement Corporation to include the base bid and alternate A. Enfield Avenue in the amount of $904,553.35. Do I have a second?
A second.
Is any other last questions, comments from any trustee? That case, I would ask for a vote, please.
Trustee Zebrowski.
Aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Snell.
Aye.
Trustee Chadwick.
I,
President Birmingham.
Aye.
Trustee Barbian.
No.
Trustee Oleg.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Next item in the Finance Committee is the Finance Committee's internal audit and reviews presented for payment. Trustee Sell, I believe you've had it this month. What we do is rotate this every month to different trustees, randomly pick checks, ACH and P card payments to verify any audit procedures or the need that's there. And this month, Trustee Sell had it.
Yeah, I picked some random items to review, and everything checked out perfectly fine.
Okay. On the packets that everybody's got, is there any other questions from any other trustees in regards to any questions at all in regards to P card checks, ACHs? Okay. If not, I want to thank Trustee Sells for taking the time to pull all those and appreciate that. Next item is the approval of accounts payable checks for payment. The Finance Committee moves to the village board to approve accounts payable checks 57308 through 57382 in the amount of $318,479.96. We also asked for approval of the ACH payments for the month in the amount of $409,810.54, and the P card purchases in the amount of $111,090.64 for grand total this month to approve is $839,381.14.
Second motion.
Second, and any last questions on any of these payments? I see none. I would ask for a roll call then.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Snell.
Aye.
Trustee Chadwick.
I,
President Birmingham.
Aye.
Trustee Barbian.
Aye.
Trustee Oleg.
Aye.
Trustee Zebrowski.
Aye.
Last item on the Finance Committee agenda tonight is status of accounts, January 31st, 2021. Do you have any updates if you want to? Kristen, thank you.
Yeah, with any big update, obviously January is just the start.
Yes, I know.
Still working on year end.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the finance committee for tonight.
Thank you very much, trustee Barbian. All right, with that, we'll move on to planning commission, anything tonight? Very good. Library board?
From the February 17th meeting, the Friends of the Library hosted a small book sale on the Saturday before Valentine's Day to support the Broad Street Shop and Dine activities. Through the book sale netted a little less than $200. The year-round book sale cards in the library earned over $1,700 in total in the last year. Borrowing of physical library material remains close to a normal non-pandemic February, but visits are still lower than normal. We're starting to see more young families and kids return after work and on weekends, and suspect the trend will continue to increase with school back to in-person. Several League of Wisconsin municipalities publications were purchased for the library to help support and inform new trustee candidates in the pursuit of office and help existing trustees boost their knowledge. We've got some examples here for you guys interested in boosting your knowledge for your candidates. And we got them.
Homework, all right.
Library.
Okay, thank you very much, trustee Seltz. Public Works Committee tonight?
No meeting.
Excellent. Board of Health?
No meeting.
Thank you very much. Board of Health and Welfare?
No meeting.
Park and Rec?
Nothing.
And public celebration?
Nope.
Very good. All right, with that, we'll go to old business. There's no old business appointments and resignations tonight. With that, we'll go to new business. BOT 2111, discuss and necessary action regarding approval of a resolution authorizing the village president to sign the audit engagement letter for the village annual audit. Ranger Michaels, or is this somebody over here?
So when our auditing firm changed from Schenck to Clifton Larson, got absorbed or bought up, then this is the new thing they have that they want the village president to sign or someone in charge of governance, I think how they phrase it. So we thought that we should bring it forward and then the board could vote that they would approve that that's something that the village president can do.
Who signs it now?
Well, in the past, it had been Todd and I, so it was like management and whoever's doing the finance stuff. But it's now who's in charge of governance is how it's phrased with you and then me because I'm preparing it. So if in the future, so we did it as a resolution so the board could just say, yep, yeah, the village president can sign. You do kind of have to sign to the engagement letter is a lot where they outline like whose responsibility it is. So there's some things where auditors, and they all do it, every one of them, want us to take responsibility for our books so that if there's some, maybe they wouldn't find every little way that something could be off. They do, tests and take samples if you're familiar with how they do it. But then in the end, if it's messed up, I have to take
So they're not
responsibility.
liable.
What is it, our liability of the?
Yeah, just cover their butts.
What they're doing is, and I questioned it, and we actually ran it through the village attorney.
We did.
Because I am not aware of any, and I'm sure there's one or a few in the state that are accountants, village presidents that are accountants, and could truly say, I've gone through all the books. So I really think it's a way for them to, there's been some major malfeasance in office situations around the country. It's a way for them to push it back on the village
Right.
that, Jim should have caught it. And I find it kind of bizarre because non-accountants aren't going to catch.
Right.
We're a large operation. I mean, we're very large with very significant amount of journal entries. But our attorney said he's seen these, he's approved them before, and it said people.
Do we have a choice?
Not really.
I mean, it's like, maybe we should go to a different firm then.
Then they'll give us their letter.
And you think everybody has it?
I think it's given what's gone and happened.
So I don't know, just, so you sign it and he signs it and the village president sign it.
Just me and he's
He's out of it.
Sure that-
Something that's your
So
responsibility.
what do you think? You want to send it?
Yeah, holy cow, that's a heavy load.
The whole budget?
So, start with you.
Yes, please.
So I guess, well, you would be signing one, I'm sure, but then I'd be signing them. Am I gonna be held liable if for some reason I sign something that?
It's not that, it's.
Yeah, I just don't see how you could, because the village president could, because you don't have that in-depth knowledge, and what they're doing is they're saying they test, and we've, I've done did the books here for how many years? They test, they'll test 30 transactions here, 10, 20 payroll transactions to make sure everything's calculated right.
Like we do.
And it's paid according to the salary resolution that the board passes, but they can't catch everything. And this is just another way that they end up in, like the cost situation, the cost corporation where they had the lady steal money. It's just something else they can use in court to try to say, Jim should have caught it. It's absurd in my opinion, but,
Yeah, but.
and that's why I'm going on the record saying it now, because I think it is a good idea.
Because, listen, we hired him to sign it, and he should be knowing that. When elected, and I'm kind of in charge of the board, and he's kind of puts the president of the board in a position, so you're saying he probably won't be liable. That's not close enough.
Well, and the village would defend the president also. You have insurance for the very.
But you're saying right now, we could not say, we don't want to do this. Yes.
My other thing is, if you want me to sign it too, and pass it that way. I have no problem signing it.
All right, I like that.
They would be happy to take it.
So would you be fine with that? He would sign it also with you?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
There is a responsibility of ours to prepare our books properly, and we have signed all the years because that is what we're doing.
Right.
So I understand them wanting, not for someone to say, you're the auditors, you should have caught it, and if it's going on in our house, we need to take responsibility for it, and
So can we change this to say
well,
that?
I think you could just sign, I don't think they're gonna say they don't accept.
You should authorize, it. Just when you pass it, say, let's say, authorize the village president and village manager to sign.
Got that one?
I got it.
All right. Any other question? Yes, trustee.
I was gonna say, nothing against you, nothing against the future one here. It just didn't make sense. I mean, especially if you're taking Todd out. You makes perfect sense, okay, because you're the one,
Right.
all right? So I understand that, but I hate it when other places or other things are taking advantage of the situation and trying to put the president in a position that they are, seriously, should not be in. And they're purposely doing that to cover their, where. And to me, that's wrong. So can we vote to change this, or you can vote to deny it?
Let me go to him first.
They probably won't do our audit, then we have to find new auditors at the
I was
last
just
minute.
gonna add him to.
What I would tell you is, I do go through the numbers, I print, Kristen doesn't even know this, I have printed the entire 2020 general ledger detail, not printed, put it into a PDF file and go through it. I mean, it's 1,000 pages or more. But I do go through it. I look for things that I don't think are right, especially large dollar items. Like, I've gone through the capital improvement fund, each transaction, especially large ones, to say, why is this here? Is this wrong? Is this?
You can
And it's
never
not,
know.
and in those cases, it isn't that it's something illegal. It's just, why is this charged to capital improvement fund when I think it should be charged here? The payment's correct, but it's where you.
If he's saying he goes through it, we as president do not go through it. So we're putting our name, something that we don't know, so that's just the sense.
So obviously with insurance, so if somehow Jim would get sued by some residents for missing some big fraud or something, we have insurance that would cover him so in that case.
They defend all of our employees and the village board against all attacks.
But not just defend us, but cover the loss, if you would lose monetary.
To a certain extent, I can't remember how much it is, but it's quite a bit, but I mean, considering our exposure, I mean, we go through over $40 million a year probably. Between tax collections for all the other entities and our revenues and
But
expenses.
I like the idea if we add, I mean, him and the president, because then the safety in numbers.
Okay. I want to make a motion to approve resolution R 2021-01, authorizing the village president to sign the engagement letter and also adding the village manager as a
I like that.
signatory.
Go then.
Yes, thank you. Second.
Any other questions on this item? Now we'll take a roll call for approval as presented.
Trustee Sal.
Aye.
Trustee Taylor.
Was the village manager added?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Aye.
Trustee Garvius.
Aye.
Trustee Olet.
Aye.
Trustee Sigarowski.
So I just want to ask a question. I guess Jim voted, but can we vote on this since it's voting on something that would be?
Yeah, you have no personal gain. It's only if you had like a private business and if you own the auditing firm, per se, or.
All right, aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Very good, thank you. All right, moving on to BOT 2112. Discussing action regarding special event permit and public celebration, my favorite, Pet Palooza.
Yeah, your favorite.
Hey, Jim, excuse me, Jim,
Oh, I'm sorry.
can I make a motion to talk about all the events except for the J&J event at once?
I will ask no on that. I want each individual one.
He made the motion.
Okay.
So,
Because there's something wrong in
The
it.
question is there a second?
is there a second?
I can tighten it up,
Second it.
simplify it.
All right.
No discussion on,
The discussion, so now the discussion,
Was to go through it. Well, the Village Days event.
wait, we've got to decide on the motion.
But we can't put them all together because they're all separate and they're all separate. I mean, I don't know how they can be.
You can make changes. There's no reason you have to approve everyone.
So I
Without a
categorize them
change.
as PCC, Lions, and Park and Rec. Should we do it like that?
Right now, there's a motion on the floor.
motion is on the table, so we want to discuss each one separately, so can we go through this motion and then have another motion?
Either passes or fails.
All right, so
Awesome. Fine.
Can we discuss the
this is one of those things that, again, since we're in discussion on this motion, right? We're in discussion on the motion. To me, this is like bringing a lot of toys to a party and saying, we're going to just vote all these toys are good.
Right.
And this is what this is just piling these all in and say, okay, we all approved it, now what's your problem? What's your discussion? No, I'd like to, I agree that you put it in separately to the celebration committee, is that correct? You don't go to them and say, we're going to approve all these guys, and so I would like to do the same, because I just think there are some questions that I've been aware of, and I think that Donna has some questions, and we just should talk about. So how do we,
You vote on the motion for or against.
all right,
I have a question, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I can see why you're from speeding up to do it, but a lot of these motions from different entities, which I have it's not like it's all public celebrations and that. And I think all of them are obviously good events, so they wouldn't be here, but I would like to just talk, I think we can go through them relatively quickly, individually.
We're not to rush through it.
All right, we got a motion on, in a second, so let's, we have to vote on that motion. So we'll take a roll call.
Trustee Chadwick.
No.
President Birmingham.
No.
Trustee Garvius.
No.
Trustee Olet.
No.
Trustee Sigarowski.
I have to abstain, you said?
Yeah, yes,
You have any event?
No, because it doesn't pertain to the J&J,
Okay, so can I make a comment to it by vote or no?
as long as you don't mention anything about the J&J.
Absolutely not. I'm 99.9% sure that all these are gonna pass. And I don't understand why we wouldn't vote for them all, and I think everyone will vote for them all, so I don't understand why we just don't lump
Just to
them
go
together.
through each one separate so you can ask
We're
questions.
still gonna go through it separately and vote on it.
That's not what they said though.
Yes, it
We're
is.
taking a vote.
That's not what they said.
So, yes, I vote to, do it all together.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Snell?
Yes.
All right, 43, so that does not pass.
Okay.
So the motion that I would make is that these are all done separately, as we have them listed, and we've got to make a motion on them.
They're listed separately. I don't think you have.
Well, I didn't
We already
think
took
so.
votes, so it's gonna be the same vote.
So you may start with the
Okay.
first item. And
Okay. First is Petpalooza. I'll still be brief. May 8th from 11 to 3 p.m. We are requesting to close Broad Street from Northway to Crocus, keeping the driveways open. We'll have the activities in Gazebo Park and that use all of Broad Street to spread out, being that this is the first event of the year. We'd also like to declare it a public celebrations day.
Let me ask you this, you made a good point. To move this along, just tell us what's changed in each one when we get there.
Exactly.
So that way you don't tell me there's dogs and have somebody picking up, you know, whatever. But in each one, let's just go to change, and anybody that has comments, we can do that one. Okay,
We tightened up the time frame 11 to 3, closing Broad Street. Activities will be in Gazebo
good,
Park.
that's all we need to know. Good. All right.
That's for Petpalooza.
We'll take a motion for approval on this one.
Are we getting, okay, we're gonna do them separate?
Roll call, please.
I need to get
Wait.
it back in.
Second, motion to approve Petpalooza?
Good, second.
Is there a second?
Chadwick.
I second it, if nobody did.
President Birmingham?
Aye.
Trustee Fabian?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
Trustee Zebrowski?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Snell?
Yes.
Trustee Chadwick?
All right, discussion necessary action regarding the parade permit for the 4th of July parade. I take it that means we're gonna have one.
Yep, Sunday, July 4th. The only thing that's changed is we've upped the time to 9:30. This was approved not last year, but the year before, to start the children's parade and the actual parade a half hour earlier so that we can accrue more units so they can go to other events later in the day. Same route, same everything.
Take a motion, please.
There was a question, go ahead.
Question.
Before you do the motion, could you please read the whole motion? Because we added language that with COVID-related health regulations, you know, these events
All right,
might
so
be.
those are what we need to read on the motions, guys. So, all right. So, I'll take a motion first and then we'll have a question.
Okay.
Right.
I move to the village board to approve the parade permit for the 4th of July. Permit is presented contingent on complying with COVID-related health regulations in place at the time of the event. And it is outlined by Christian.
Is second motion?
Questions, please. Discussion? Yes, please.
This is the only one I'm happy we're doing separately because I don't like the early time. That's, I just want to say that again.
We missed out on a lot of cool
Different acts.
acts because of the timing.
We say a lot of candy rush. Trustee Scott Chapman.
I was very pleased to see about the COVID, it's still in place and stuff like that. Eventually, not tonight, but eventually, what I would like to know is if, what the plans are, coming up with the changes, okay? I mean, we need it like out, if the president gets his way and we're all vaccinated by May, woo-hoo, you know. So I'd like to know, what's the procedure and what the health department will be doing. I mean, is it a mass party, everybody, throw, you know, a bonfire or what, you know? So, okay, thank you.
All right, we'll take a motion for approval.
I have a motion.
We have a motion.
Roll call.
Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Fabian?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
Trustee Zebrowski?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Snell?
No.
Trustee Chadwick? Aye. President Birmingham?
Aye, very good, thank you. Item 2115, Discussion necessary action on
2114.
I'm ahead of myself. Who's the page here somewhere? 14, I'm sorry. Discussion regarding Lions Club 4th of July Family Fest. Any changes?
Nope. This will be on Thursday, July 1st through Sunday, July 4th. Broad Street closed from Schoolway to Crocus Court. Activities will be in Gazebo Park once again. They've spread it out a little bit facing Broad Street. They have a little bit of a different setup to kind of spread everything out rather than pack everything in. Other than that.
It looks like it was different, that there's going to be a tent on Broad Street that someone's going to have to take down at 11 o'clock at night. How is that? What's happening with that?
Rich, would you elaborate on that?
That's not happened before.
Correct, the intent is.
So it's different.
The intent is, but the intent is Broad Street, but then that would come down, or we're investing that would come down at 11 o'clock, so the train would come through
So where would that be on Broad Street?
in the middle of Broad Street.
In
Like
like
just-
the north,
right.
like in front of Gazebo Park.
In front of Gazebo Park.
That would work. So DPW would have to come in at 11 o'clock and take it down? Is that what the plan is?
Correct, and we would have volunteers to help pull it down.
Is that every night?
Just on the,
It would just go down the night before the parade, because the parade route has to go in front of the gazebo. So for the whole first few days, the tent would be in the streets, just to allow for spreading out more.
What's the tent for?
What is a tent for?
it's the barn cages.
So the road would be closed from Thursday till Sunday?
Correct.
Saturday night?
Correct, that's what we're asking for this year.
Yikes.
That's a lot.
The reason for the road closure is because of COVID, so we're trying to spread people out, and the best that we can do is that will allow us to spread out individuals. Even if it was 1 or 2 days, we would still be requesting that, even to spread out people.
Any figuring on your guys' part that would hinder the bridge, down the road, or, I mean,
About the chief.
What do you think about that, Chief?
Yeah, so for the village, I can make anything work, so if the road's closed, we'll ground it.
Way would remain open and Crocus, it would just be
It's from
from,
Crocus to school is.
right,
You can still cover the south.
so you could still go through.
Yeah, it's really a policy decision for the board, whether you want to leave it closed for that long and the effect it's obviously going to have in people trying to get to different places, get to businesses, coming through to go to Sendix, and now they can't get through and they got to try to figure out how to get there. The police will enforce whatever you.
I wonder if we could do some kind of a tent that could just move like to the grass at night. Like that green tent that we have.
21.
It's a long time to stay closed.
And those stakes are gonna go into the road?
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you just a second. The intent isn't about the tent itself, even if there wasn't a tent, we would still be asking to close the street, particularly this year, because of COVID and an effort to get more real estate to spread out individuals, so we're not all crammed in Gazebo Park.
I think you're overplaying COVID, but that's.
I understand what we're trying to say at this point.
So would the Lions be okay that if COVID precautions were lessened by then with not putting the tent up?
Yes. Not closing the street, the answer would be yes. We still like.
You could open the street overnight.
Correct.
Whereas if the.
But I'm just asking if they'd agree, the Lions would agree that if there's no need for a tent because COVID restrictions are lessened,
Again,
wouldn't put the tent up.
it's not about the tent, we would still have a tent, but the initial reason is to have real estate to spread individuals out. So if there's no COVID concerns and everybody's fine, then the only thing we would do is go back to asking to close Broad Street like at 5 o'clock each night. I think is what.
Right, like when the festival's going on, which is definite.
Right, yeah, so anyone calls it, yeah.
So that's in the record now, so.
Right, and that's fine, that's clarification, thank you. All right, good. So do we have,
Other questions?
questions on this yet?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Yep.
Can you,
Yes, read
We gotta read what's on there, so.
I'm just so you know, I'm just trying to cover for the people that are very worried about COVID and that the village is taking that into account.
Yep, discussion necessary, oh wait, no, sorry.
Page 3.
Yeah, recommend motion, I move to approve the special event permit application from the Lions Club for the Family Fourth Fest as presented, contingent on complying with COVID-related health regulations in place at the time of the event. And I guess we'll just add to what Rich stated, due to COVID.
About the tent, you mean?
Does that?
Yeah, just so that's in the minutes. I would just request that.
You know, we record the meeting, so it's obvious the intent was that if the tent is not needed, we're not gonna put it up.
Right. So if that, as we all heard today, Texas went clear already, so we never know where this is going, so.
But yeah, they'll still, be closed when the festival's going on, of course.
Any other questions on this item?
Was that rolled for 3 days?
Take a roll call for approval, or just take a roll call, please?
Trustee Laura?
Aye.
Trustee Sidorovsky?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
No.
Trustee Sell?
Yes.
Trustee Chadwick? President Birmingham?
Aye. Thank you very much.
Birmingham.
Now, item number 2115, discussing necessary action to special event permit Green Alliance for Village Day celebration. Yes, go ahead, please.
So it would be Thursday, August 12th for the Lions. They are putting on the application through Sunday. They sometimes tentatively decide what's going to happen on Sunday. I know GEA usually does something on Sunday, so that's just kind of an optional day for the Lions in Gazebo Park. Again, Broad Street closed, Schoolway through Crocus. Same setup is being requested.
That's the intent, same deal.
So that'll be a problem.
That'll be August, yeah.
Yeah, if we have Parking Street and that closed. So that, I don't know how we could do that.
We have a real problem getting around, because.
Yeah.
Yes, Rich, do you have a solution for that? Because that will be a.
Sure, could we build another road?
Yeah, we got a road budget, sure.
So typically, we do close Broad Street every night, starting like, again, 4 or 5 o'clock. So I guess the question I would ask is, I'm not sure what the plan is when Broad Street is closed from 5 and why that would be any different. And I understand the business impact. But for emergency services, I guess I would ask, for the last 5-6 years, we've been closing Broad Street starting at 5, so how are we dealing with it between, 11 o'clock and all the streets open at 11, never mind, because barricades are moved. That's what happens. So I would ask that we just do it with normally done, if that's a concern. Let's just close it when we normally close it.
And no tent, you mean?
No tent?
The tent, we were dealing with putting a tent in and out, we got good lines to deal with it. Putting the tent in and out.
Okay.
So, let me be very clear, it's not a concern from the board, if the Lions deal with it themselves and put a tent in the middle of Broad Street and it's not staked down, and they're using it and moving it by the time the road opens at 11 o'clock.
Not a problem. Not for me anyway.
Okay.
But I do have a problem. I'm hoping that this was just an error, that Rich wasn't putting that in here. Number 12 is saying that the Lions are going to be having rides from Lake Enterprises for Village Days.
That was a mistake, but we can certainly retain that if you'd like us to.
No, I would like not to approve this until the new application is done. No.
All right, so that's all right, all right. Any other, okay, thank you for doing that. And any other questions on this item?
So how do we handle that then? Is there a new application? Did you understand what happened, Jim? It says on here that the Lions are doing the rides for Village Days.
Yeah.
Just put it in the record that the motion, when the motion's, that they're not gonna have the rides. He's already agreed to it on tape, so.
I was just like, what?
Why would
Oh my God!
I move to approve the special event permit application from the Lions Club for Village Days as presented, contingent on complying with COVID-related health regulations in place at the time of the event, noting that there's an error on the application and they will not be having games and rides from Lake Enterprises.
And also about the tent you want to put in?
And no tent.
Oh, yeah, the tent will be moved when the road opens up again by the Lions.
Second motion.
further questions? If none, we'll take a roll call for approval.
Trustee Sidorovsky?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Stowe?
Aye.
Trustee Chadwick? Aye. President Birmingham?
Aye.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Young?
Aye.
Very good, all right. Moving along to item DOT, 2116, discuss necessary action regarding special permit requests for Greendale Lions and JJ Festival.
Okay, this is going to be 2 evenings this year, so August 27th and Saturday, August 28th. We will just be closing the Schoolway Loop, again, leaving Parking Street and the parking lot open as in the past. No major road closures, just Friday night would be just band and drinks, and Saturday afternoon into the evening would be the activities and as well as the band and drinks that night as well.
I remember last year's we did keep access to the middle school for emergency vehicle purposes. Was that the case? And that would be the case this year?
Yes.
So I guess on this one, a question, only because I did receive some emails on this. And the question I'm going to bring up is a question, again, that the board has to make a decision on. Other people have said that we are promoting a business, the village president coming in and using this festival to promote a business. So that is a question I wanted to bring tonight. Just to say that, hold on, I mean, that with the name of the festival, some people feel that we are using village money and village things to promote this, which is true, which we're doing. Well, wait a minute. Yes.
Just so the board's aware, Jason can't participate in this discussion in any way.
Yeah.
So he can't defend the event or anything.
So the only reason I'm bringing this up is it was questioned, and I talked to the manager about this, and we didn't send it to Jason because it's just, he can't talk on it anyways. So the question is, are we as a village? So is anybody attached to the village able to do this kind of a thing? And it is promote his business, whether he likes it or not, and I have no problem with that. I'm using him as well. But that's the question, is the board now has to come on board to say they have no problem with a board member or president in doing this. So go ahead.
The village staff doesn't.
Hold on.
Yes.
All village businesses have to be treated the same. This is exactly the same as when Grand Haven ran the events downtown. There was only one reason they were running those events, was to promote the businesses.
Yep.
The only difference here is we've got a board member who owns the business. You can't use it against him, the same as, he can't coerce the board. He can't vote on this item, but he's a business downtown. So you're saying one downtown business could do it, but the other downtown business can't.
I'm going to be speaking of Gift of Wings, who's doing.
Hold on,
So Gift of Wings does their events as
we
well.
understand that Lions is part of this, but
But it's a Lions event, but this is, could I address the board? It's a Lions event. We put in the application, man.
I understand. I'd like to get to where the board is first and then we can, so I'll give you a minute on this. Yes.
If it was the village providing DPW support, I don't know if there's any other money we're really providing, I guess, the police as well. For a private event, that'd be one thing, but it's for the public, it's for an event for the public of Greendale.
I'm sorry. The only reason I'm bringing this up is I want to get you guys.
And I guess my question is that what's the difference of, say, Miller or Sears or Macy's sponsoring a event? It's the same thing. They're promoting their business, or they're promoting, and they're bringing a community together. So I don't see it.
All right. Any other questions on this? Yes.
My only question was, I don't see where, like if there's gonna be toilets or who's carrying the insurance, nothing, it's all blank.
They carry the insurance.
Okay.
They rent restrooms, and last year they.
Is it on here and I just missed it?
Borrowed the.
All right, Rich, why don't you explain what the Lions are doing? Again,
Yeah.
I wanted this to be brought forward, so it wasn't a question on this whole thing and what we're doing. And I think there's a great festival last year. I think it'd be good this year. I just want to make sure the board is made a policy on moving this forward. Go ahead.
So, clarification. So the Lions were approached last year by J&J to see if we were interested in partnering doing a fundraiser for the Lions Club. So all the money made from the event, from the sale of alcohol and beer, goes directly to the Lions Club. I know that last year, in addition to that, there was also fundraising that was done for the Historical Society and some other media groups that they get the money from. So there was no proceeds. I'm just trying to be transparent and clear. There were no proceeds from the event at all that went to J&J. The other piece that you should know is unlike events that the Lions do, which is Village Days and the 4th of July, because of the relationship of Jason to the village board, we particularly made sure that we had absolutely, other than maybe police department and fire department, absolutely no services were used from the village of Greenville, none whatsoever. So everything that was done for the event, including trash, including disposal of trash, including setup, including tear down, had nothing to do with one village employee except for police and fire presence. The other piece then is that I think it's important to know that, and this is at least the 2 cents I'd like to give. For years, there have been businesses in Greendale.
I need to go and.
I understand, so this isn't, I guess my point though is.
The point is exactly what I wanted you just to say, you just said.
What is the Greendale Lions, and that's the separation I'm trying to make here, is that we have been lucky enough to be able to have somebody that will make the expenses and allow the Lions to make the proceeds. So this is, as much as it's called the J&J event, all the proceeds from the event go to the Lions Club. So this is a Lions event with the name of J&J on it.
And that is exactly the speech I wanted you to get so that the public is well aware this is not anything under, and so you know as well, Jason. It's not, I just needed to go out and say, no, have fun. Come, this is going to be a 2-day festival in August, and that's what I needed. Because if 2 people are questioning, there's 20 people.
Right.
And I just wanted to go out that this is cool, the village is behind this, and that we are well aware of what's going on, and thank you. So.
But I'm still not clear who's doing the insurance on that.
Yes. So, just like the rest of the Lions events, the Lions provide a certificate of liability.
Is what?
He is out of.
Well, I asked him about.
You were asking me the question, it's on the application.
Yeah.
So.
It's not on there.
It's no different than any other Lions, we provide a certificate of insurance.
Okay.
Yes, Trustee Byron.
I was just curious, you started to say something about gift of wings and the conversation. I'd like you to finish because I was curious with the.
Just that Halloween's is Gift of Wings event as well. So it's kind of a similar situation. Yes. They're backed by the Park and Rec, so they've done that for years and that benefits their business. So it's sort of a parallel, little different circumstances, but.
Right. And listen, I think what makes this so that we needed to have this is that Jason is the incoming president, and that will make it doesn't make it new, but people are going to ask, and this clarifies it. We put out a record here. This festival is a cool festival. It's fun. It's 2 days. Have fun. It's a Lions event, and this is where it is. And we needed to kind of set that. So this is nothing against your festival. No, that, and I'm always the first one there to get there. So with that, do we have further questions? Yes. Can I take a motion, please?
Yeah, I want to move to approve the special event permit application from the Lions Club for J&J Festival as presented, contingent on complying with COVID-related health regulations in place at the time of the event.
I'll
Do
second.
we have a second?
I'll second it.
Very good. And with that, we'll take our roll call for approval.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Bell?
Yes.
Trustee Chadwick?
Aye.
President Birmingham?
Aye.
Trustee Darby?
Affirmative.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
Trustee Zebrowski?
You can. Yes, Ms. Daniel. Very good. All right. So with that, we move along to 2117, discuss and necessary action, special permit request for Park and Rec, the bike safety day.
This is basically the same thing as last year. It's going to be at the community center, Saturday, June 12th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Short and sweet. No info.
Any other questions? Yes.
I move to approve the special event permit application for the Park and Rec for Bike Safety Day as presented, contingent on complying with COVID-related health regulations in place at the time of the event.
I second it.
Any discussion? None, we'll call for approval.
Trustee Sell.
Aye.
Trustee Trevor.
Aye.
President Birmingham.
Aye.
Trustee Barbian.
Aye.
Trustee Olet.
Aye.
Trustee Zebrowski.
Aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Very good. BOT 2118, discussion necessary action regarding special events permit to Park and Rec movie in the park.
These will be at Gazebo Park, June 12th, July 16th, which is a Friday, and September 18th from dusk until 10:45 p.m. No new changes.
Motion approval.
Second.
I made the motion.
I know the motion, I guess that's fine. Discussion? None, roll call please.
Trustee Chadwick.
Aye.
President Birmingham.
Aye.
Trustee Barbian.
Aye.
Trustee Olet.
Aye.
Trustee Zebrowski.
Aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Sell.
Aye.
2119, discussion necessary action, special permit request Park and Rec for downtown markets.
These will be per usual on Broad Street, 8 a.m. till noon, starting on June 19th through October 2nd. Everything else per normal.
Take a motion for approval.
Motion to approve BOT 2119 as outlined, Jim.
Second motion.
Any questions? Roll call for approval.
I guess, can I ask one quick question on that?
Yes.
Sorry. So I do just have a question on Park and Rec with the downtown markets, if they're going to be using our trailer, why doesn't it get charged to Park and Rec and it gets charged to public celebrations?
She would probably tell you she doesn't want it.
Do we have to have it down there for, can we use the?
No, but then we'd be back to all the businesses complaining about that people using their
Using their
restrooms.
bathrooms.
Yeah, 'cause that's a big expense that it's just odd that we don't get near the funds for the downtown market. And yet we're getting the expense of it.
Well, my question is, whose market is it? The villages or?
Well, then maybe should the village run it? What do you mean?
You're bringing up good question. I don't know who's.
It's just kind of a pet
I
peeve.
don't know if anybody realizes this, but the market is 30 years old. Okay, I believe it's the 30-year anniversary and stuff. I was just wondering, is there any plans to have a kind of a fund or like event or anything?
As of now,
The person who started the market is still here in Greenville.
as of now, I haven't heard anything, but I can discuss that with Jackie.
I'm just
We'd be
curious.
happy to help with something to, come up
Who
with
was that, Al?
Yep.
Sally? Was that Al that started it?
No, that was Ziganiacs.
Oh.
Ziganiacs are the ones that started the.
Money's big.
I was just, like you say, I believe it's 30 years old, and I was just curious if there was anything that was being done. I could be wrong. I just thought, it's kind of neat if,
It would be nice.
Yeah.
Jim has passed, but Bonnie is still alive, and it would just be kind of a neat little ceremony.
Good idea.
Okay,
I'll talk to her and Jackie about
I'm
it.
done with that.
Yep.
Is there any other questions on this, using the porta potty there? I don't, I don't see any. So with that, do we have all this?
Well, I kind of, there's no good way about it. I mean, it is, unfortunately, we aren't getting money to cover the cost of it. But on the other hand, I remember all the years where we had resident complaints that they couldn't use lavatories because a lot of the businesses didn't want them to come in there unless they were buying a product from them, which if you don't always do that. So I mean, I think we have to do it, although
It would be the library.
we get that. So without a doubt, it's not fair.
Library enough with it. Welcome.
People are expecting it there now. I mean, we've done it for a couple of years, so if we pulled it out, I think it would go over really bad.
Maybe we just need to put charge the funds somewhere different. We can talk to Todd about that. Equipment fund.
Why does the Park and Rec run it and not the village? or different? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Jackie is always taking that on to do it, and nobody.
She does a great job, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that at all, I'm just.
But yeah, I don't know how that ever started. School
Just because we started it now, so let's start a village market, we wouldn't do like West Hampton Park.
Right.
That's good.
It would be the question of finding somebody to,
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
I'm gonna tell you, it's
A
not
lot of work, I know that.
Yeah,
Kristen wants to work.
All right, we'll take a motion on this, and,
We already have one, we just need to vote.
what's that?
We just need a roll call.
Okay, we'll take a roll call, thank you.
President Birmingham,
Aye.
trustee Barbian,
Aye.
trustee Olet,
Aye.
trustee Siborowski,
Aye.
trustee McFall,
Aye.
trustee Sal,
Aye.
trustee Chadwick.
Abstain.
All right, moving along, DOT 2120, necessary action, a special permit request. Park and Rec for kites over Glendale.
This was new last year. It was a pretty good success. It'll be at the community center Sunday, September 19th from noon to 4. And the Park and Rec partners with Gift of Wings. That's kite flying event.
It was nice of that, I guess, to say. That was nice of that.
Further questions on this one? We'll take a motion first.
Motion to approve BOT 2120. President Birmingham made the initial motion.
Second,
1 second.
we'll take any questions? Roll call for approval.
Trustee Barbian,
Aye.
trustee Olet,
Aye.
trustee Siborowski,
Aye.
trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Sal,
Aye.
trustee Chadwick,
Aye.
president Birmingham.
Aye, thank you. Last one, 2121. Discussion necessary action, special permits, well, we're going deep in this. Park and Rec for Halloween.
I know. Park and Rec submitted all of theirs at once. So Halloween's Gazebo Park, October 26th through October 31st this year. Nothing else new.
Questions? If not, we'll take a motion first.
I'll make this motion. Move that the board approve special permit application from Park and Rec for Halloween's that presented contingent on the complying with COVID-related health regulations in place at the time of the event. I also forgot the COVID aspect in BOT 2120, so I'd like that added in.
Second motion?
Any questions? We'll take a roll call for approval.
Trustee Olet,
Aye.
trustee Siborowski,
Aye.
trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Sal,
Aye.
trustee Chadwick,
Aye.
president Birmingham,
Aye.
trustee Barbian.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So I think that was, now we'll move into officers' reports. Everybody received police, fire, public works, health, library, as I'm verging. Any questions, anybody, for any of the departments about the manager's report?
The only thing I would like to kind of ditto on per se, the health department really has done an excellent job this whole COVID period, adding extra staff, which, Sue is lucky enough to get to come. And with all the vaccinations, I mean, I think we're ahead of most communities, and the health department's really did a great job that way.
Thank you.
I agree. We're here. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Nothing from the village president this week. With that, we will go to the last part for the citizens' comments area. So anybody wishing to come up and make a thank you. It was good seeing you again.
I know that you guys want to get going, so I'll try to make it brief. I just wanted to talk quickly about item A under new business, which was the audit question and the village president signing. And there's other considerations as well. I guess my question is, did we specifically talk to our insurance company to make sure that there was coverage for this? I would assume so, but if not, then he's nodding yes. That would be something that I would want to have answered. Another thing is that there's governmental immunities and things of that nature. So I don't think that the village president, regardless of his signature or not, would, because this is in the scope of his job as a government official. I think he'd have protections around those immunities. I've done an investigation of someone who defrauded the government by taking a lot of money from the government, And I can tell you that these audits are crazy expensive, and it's part of the big concern is legal fees as well, and then they want to know who's going to pay for all of that. So that's why they're having these signatures. But at the end of the day, I think regardless of the village president signing any document or not, they were going to sue the village president, because when things like this happen, they try to sue everybody and see what sticks.
For deep pockets.
And the very first thing the insurance company would try to do is not only get the action dismissed, but they would try to remove all the parties but the village itself. So those were considerations that I thought about when I was listening to the audit. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments. Mary, coming back up too, all right?
Hey, you got pizza for us?
Just one more comment. I'm going to challenge Trustee Chadwick to let us know how many years she's been on the board by the next meeting. Okay? Because I couldn't find it online. Thank you.
All right. Did you find mine?
No, you were.
I will say and tell you, I'm 24 years on.
No, you're 24. I'm thinking this Trustee Chadwick.
Okay. All right. Anyone else wishing to address the board here? I see no one. We're going to move them to closed session. Board shall convene the closed session, section 19.5 IC, to consider employment, promotion, compensation, performance evaluation of any public employee for which the governing body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility, specifically discuss the village manager's office. Number B, village board shall convene in closed session pursuant to 19-85 IE of the village state of the Wisconsin state statute for competitive bargaining reasons to discuss strategy relevant to contract negotiation and settlements offered to the village police officers union due to competitive or bargaining reasons. Return to open session. The board reserves the right to return to open session to consider approving an agreement with the Greendale Professional Police Association, Local 309. I will take a motion for this. Again, go ahead, please.
Motion to move into closed session as outlined by President Birmingham.
Second motion?
We'll take a roll call for going into closed session.
Trustee Sikorowski?
Yes.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Stout?
Aye.
Trustee Chadwick?
Trustee Crane?
Aye.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Owen?
We will presume at 8:30, 4 minutes. We'll take a 4-minute break.
Was it Crane?
Robbie, you praying over there?
For what? Oh, just Crane? Awesome.